G'day, I'm Rob Evan,
And I'm Anthony Ware.
and we're hoping to give you a bit of an overview of the International and Community Development course right now. We want to tell you a bit about the students, the subjects, the sort of things that you'll be doing and the sort of experiences that you might have if you come and study the program.
International and Community Development program at Deakin University is an entirely online program, and that's very deliberate because we have so many students from all around Australia and in fact around the world, and some very interesting stories, but also some very interesting interactions that you can have with other students as well as with the faculty.
And one way we thought we'd start was to talk to you about some of the interesting things staff are doing. My background, I did my main research in terms of a community building demonstration project in Melbourne's northern suburbs, and I was interested in questions about how would you run community-driven development in a sort of a low-income context.
I'm also very interested in community-driven development, but I work primarily in rural Myanmar, Burma. So I'm over there several times a year, and of course that practical fieldwork informs the teaching in the classroom, the online classroom very much. Some of our other faculty members are working in Malawi and East Timor. Damien Kingsbury's off negotiating peace agreements between ethnic groups in parts of the region and working on political development. So a very interesting and very hands-on teaching team.
Yeah. And you might see Damien or hear Damien sometimes on Radio National. So we have a range of different disciplinary backgrounds across the staff. Just off the top of my head, I think journalism, agricultural science, social work.
NGO development, NGO background for several of us.
Yeah. One thing we thought might be interesting was to talk about kind of interesting stories that we have from students we've been working with, and I was saying to Anthony before, I can remember doing an e-live, which is an online kind of a chat process with students who are doing a subject, and in the background I could hear tuk-tuks driving past because it was a student who was based, I think, in a cafe in Cambodia, so she'd taken her laptop out and was participating in the e-live from there.
I've had students participate in our online e-live classes from northern Sri Lanka, from up near Jaffna, or in rural Congo, or in Brussels, from the World Health Organization, sitting in classes, interacting verbally and so on in some of our online forums that we use in our teaching.
And we were also trying to think of some stories about students who connect with each other through the program. I know of several cases where students have posted information about themselves on the online subject website and identified people that they may have worked with previously, or people that they haven't met but were working in the same city or in the same country, and they end up connecting with each other, forming a study group or something like that, and working together through the subject. So some links like that.
And we've got a very broad diversity of subjects that you can, or units that you can explore through the website. But across that breadth, we try to keep it very practical and very grounded in practice, as much as it's very research and theory informed. So some of the assessment tasks we try to keep very practical. I teach a subject on participatory approaches, and we have students actually doing participatory development exercises in the community. For example, we had one group of one lady who worked with a bunch of surfers in the coastal community as they were looking at coastal redevelopment of the foreshore. So some of it's very field-based in the Congo or somewhere, and some of it's just very domestic Australian, but the tools are so widely usable.
Can be quite diverse. We also thought you might want to know something about student backgrounds. Again, as diverse as you can imagine. I'm thinking of some students that have been occupational therapists, worked in disability. I remember one student was working in community-based rehabilitation in, I think, the highlands of New Guinea.
I had one park ranger from Central Australia within an Aboriginal area.
And then the full range as well. People might be working in humanitarian sort of things, Australian-based, human services, more political levels, research levels, a whole range of things.
Yeah, a lot of AusAid people, policy-oriented people. So you'll find your place in this course, I'm sure.
And we were talking before about interesting dissertations that students have done. What was the example you came up with?
Well, I've just finished supervising a student who's done one on the idea of selling handicrafts, ethnically produced handicrafts, in the sense that that is actually selling their national identity and their personal sense of identity, and what that does to people and communities. Very, very interesting work that some of our students are doing.
Currently, I'm involved with a PhD candidate who is looking at a theorist, Paulo Freire, and another guy, Saul Alinsky, and he's looking at how the ideas of these two people have translated into Slum Dwellers International in a couple of parts of Africa, and possibly also branching that across to the Green Belt movement. So I suppose the bottom line that we were hoping to tell you about is that it's a range of students from a range of backgrounds. It's online. There's a variety of assessments, a variety of staff, and we try to make it a very rich course that will connect with you with the things that you want to do about development.
So I hope this has given you something of an overview of our course and who we are, and we look forward to having you study with us soon. Thank you.